pushing. The Alpha train is a slowly coming. I gotta keep on pushing. The Alpha train is a slowly coming. I gotta keep on pushing. The Alpha train is a slowly coming. I gotta keep on pushing.
That we may truly pray with new meaning. O Lord, may the true spirit of fraternity rule our hearts, guide our thoughts, and control our lives, that we may become, through thee, servants of all. Amen, amen, amen.
Thank you very, very much, Dr. Woods. Outstanding. Outstanding. We couldn't have asked for a better speech. You were right on point. From the depths of my heart and from on behalf of Theta Tau Lambda fraternity. We thank you, my brother. Job well done.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yes, sir. Next, we shall have Brother Murdoch, who will come forth, and he has the honor and privilege of presenting our first honorees. So before I introduce him, Representative Murdoch is one of our outstanding young leaders. He is a political force there in the House of Representatives. He represents the heart of the Delta well. So at this time, we will hear the presentation of our first three honorees by the Honorable Reginald Murdoch, State Representative of District Number 48. And again, thanks, Dr. Woods.
Thank you, Brother Crumbly, for that wonderful introduction. And I am honored by the opportunity that I have this evening to present our most honored guest, our honorees for tonight. It is an endeavor that we've taken on virtually, and I want to commend the Brotherhood for the courage it takes to step into this water as we continue to be, first of all, servants of all, and we will continue to transcend all. Those that we are here tonight to honor, number 7. They number 7 for a great reason, as it represents the jewels of our wonderful fraternity. It is my honor to present to you the first 3. Honoree number 1, we'll do it in alphabetical order. It's Mr. James Banks.
Coached and taught here in the Mariana School District for in the 40s, about 42 years. I'm a graduate of Robert R. Moton High School, and I'm a graduate of Wiley College in Marshall, Texas, and I have a master's degree from University of Oklahoma in Norman, and I've won the highest state tournament that you can win in Mariana. We have won the 4A state tournament, and we went on to play in the overall state tournament for all of the marbles. Well, it's hard to talk about yourself. Others have named me the champion coach in Mariana, and I'm a member of the Hall of Fame for coaches in Arkansas. I want to pass on that I was a teacher and a coach and a friend. I think this is that's about as high as you can go. And I enjoyed my career in teaching and coaching and friend to a lot of other coaches and friends and fans. I enjoyed that all those years. If I had to do it over, I would go the same route. I'm just proud to have been able to touch so many young men and women in my profession. And I hope that we made them better individuals and better persons. And I think I got my due by having done that. I think I've been very fortunate to have been able to touch many young people and old people and make friends to a lot of people.
Next, we will hear from Honoree Ms. Nancy Blount.
I'm Nancy Blount, a native Arkansan, born and reared in Arkansas. Augusta, Arkansas is my hometown, but then I have spent most of my adult life in Lee County, Arkansas, so they claim me as a Lee County also. I taught 35 years in public education, 33 here in Lee County in Mariana, and 2 at the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville. I was working on my master's degree. I'm now a life member of the Arkansas Education Association, National Education Association, Lee County, NACP, AARP. I'm an old woman now. Eta Sigma Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and a member of the Mariana Rotary Club. I served in the Arkansas House of Representatives 6 years, from 2005 to 2011, and I was the first female to be elected county coroner in Lee County and in the state of Arkansas. In the state of Arkansas, I was the first African-American elected county coroner, period, back in 1991. And I am also the first African-American female to serve District 52 in the Arkansas House of Representatives. While in the House of Representatives, I served on city and county and local government. I was the chairperson for early childhood education and served was vice chair of the education committee. And I'm proud to say that during that time, there were a number of things that I think that I was able to do that had not been done for minorities before. During that time, I was able to have a number of African Americans appointed to state boards and commissions in this area that had not happened before. You know, we'd have a few tokens here, but I made them spread it out. I said, no, we're gonna have somebody, all of these different commissions that look like me. So, and the governor and I often went round and round. Then Governor Beebe, I said, now, what I want to happen on your watch, something significant for African Americans in the state. And so as a result, we end up with one of the most important pieces of legislation that I think could have been sponsored, which became Act 950, which was a minority contractors program. When people say no, if you know it's not, that's not the right answer, the final answer, then you go back, you try again. Good evening, everyone. I want to first take this opportunity to thank Representative Murdoch for the nomination and the members of the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. And I am most honored to hear that I have done a little something good as I pass through this life. And I'm really honored that I'm able to hear it. Again, I was born and reared in Augusta, and then spent all of my adult life, practically 33 years, taught at Lee High School. Representative Murdoch is one of my former students, and so is his wife, the superintendent here. And I'm just so happy to have had the opportunity to touch some young lives that they would want to be productive citizens and great citizens in their communities, coming from one of the poorest counties in the state, but doing some of the greatest things in the nation. So again, thank you for the nomination. And I'm glad that I was able to help somebody as I passed along. And again, I'm most honored to accept this award. And I consider it one of the most outstanding awards that I have ever achieved.
Next, our next honoree will be Mayor Larry Bryant.
I'm an Air Force veteran, Vietnam era. I finished college in 2 years up at Arkansas State with a BS degree. I started August 75, finished August 77. Have a master's degree from Arkansas State. Couldn't find a job, end up at AETN as a lighting director and a production assistant. And I worked at Channel 8 during my term as when I was working towards my master's degree. So then I still couldn't find a real job, so I moved back to Forest City. I started a photography studio, did that. I ran for city council in '82, won by 13 votes, which proves that every vote counts. And from there, I became a businessman, city councilman, ran for mayor in 1986 when it wasn't in vogue, and we did all of that. So basically, I've been in the politics and in the business, and I was president of the NAACP more than anybody, I think, in the history of the NAACP in St. Francis County. From 87 until 92, I think, and 97 and 98, then I become mayor. And then that was in the 80s, 90s, and in the 2000s, 2007 or 8, up until I was mayor the next time. So I've been around here a while, fighting the system. So that's just basically what I've done. I was mayor 10 years, 8 years, and they fired me. And then I did 8 more, and they fired me again. And every time they fire you, you leave them a bucket load of money, and then they spend it accordingly. As mayor, I've probably paved more streets, and I paved streets without saying that, well, the black neighborhood, we're going to do these in the black neighborhood and these in the white neighborhood. I just did streets in the black neighborhoods that I grew up in that didn't get covered in the 60s and in the 70s and the 80s. I took care of them without saying a word. You just do what you have to do when you're the mayor, and especially when you know that these people hadn't been taken care of over the years. Well, I'd just like to say thank you for this opportunity and for giving me this award. It is truly an honor to be recognized in the Arkansas Delta, the plantation country with the plantation mentalities that have held us back over the years. But for you guys to honor me and for you guys to continue to build our Delta region, it is exemplary. And all I can say is thank you and continue to do good work, building up rather than tearing down.
Thank you, Mayor Bryant. Next, we will have the Honorable Judge Brian Miller of Helena.
Well, I'm Brian Miller. I am a judge here in the Eastern District of Arkansas. I live in Helena. I am a Spring 91 member of Alpha Phi Alpha, or pledgee of Alpha Phi Alpha. I am also a former Theta Tau Lambda member. As many of you know, most of you know me. In fact, some of the older gentlemen helped raise me. Born and raised in Helena, spent 4 years in the Navy after high school, graduated from University of Central Arkansas, then Vanderbilt Law School, practiced law in Memphis for a while. Then I was appointed to the Arkansas Court of Appeals by Mike Huckabee. After serving on the Court of Appeals, I was then appointed by President Bush to the judgeship I now serve. Over the years, I've served in a number of capacities. I've served as the city judge for Holly Grove. I've served as the city attorney for Helena, Edmondson, and Lakeview. I've served in a number of capacities. Also, of course, I've spent a lot of time on nonprofit matters, like working on the Boys and Girls Club here in Helena, things like that, so we can help provide a better life for the kids who come behind us. I've also served on the Helena Hospital Association and the on a number of other boards. With regard to the issue of legacy, of course, you know, I have 4 children, and I think my greatest legacy will be my children, and hopefully I raise them and have raised them to be productive citizens. But I will tell you, with all the things I've been involved in my life, the best thing I ever did was when I made the decision to move back to Helena in 1998. I had been gone for 13 years, and coming back here was the best thing I ever did. And hopefully my legacy will be that I did everything I could do to make life as good as I could for the people who live here. And hopefully I leave a better Helena than I found when I came back in 1998. The lesson that I have learned and that I carry with me every day and that I tell everybody who will listen is that there is more opportunity out here in the United States than you could ever imagine. And what we have to do, and it's our responsibility, both as Alpha brothers and as just Black men, to reach back to all of the young people who are coming up and help them understand what's out there waiting for them. And I will tell you, as I've traveled around this country in a number of different capacities, I see brothers working on Wall Street. I see brothers and sisters working in the biggest law firms in the country. I see brothers and sisters secretly working in corporations and companies all over the country. But these are the people we don't see. And I'll give you one other thing, and I know I have just a little time. I own some rental property here in Helena, and I hired a carpenter to do some work for me. And one day he told me that, Brian, I've got to go work on some of my own property. And I said, well, man, I didn't know you had property. He said, well, yeah, I have a few rent houses myself. And I asked him, how many do you have? He says, I have 26 rent houses. And I tell you that because there's so many of us out here who are being productive and doing good things who we don't ever think about. And so we have to focus on those of us who are doing great. and who are being productive, and make sure that our young people coming up know that those opportunities are available to them.
First thing I want to say is, in looking at the people who are being honored, I feel like I'm out of place. I look at people like Judge Neal, and he's one of my heroes. He's one of the people I looked up to and who got me where, not only figuratively, but literally put me in the place I am in now. He called me and asked me if I wanted to be on the Arkansas Court of Appeals. And then he went to Mike Huckabee and got Mike Huckabee to appoint me. I look at people like Representative Blount. When I was city attorney and I was working with Our House over in Marianna, she was one of the people who helped me all along the way. When I look at Mayor Bryant from Forest City, when I moved home, I moved back to Helena to help my daddy run for mayor. And Mayor Bryant was one of the mayors, one of the few Black men or Black people who had become mayor locally, besides Mayor Leon Phillips down in Lakeview. And he was one of the people we modeled ourselves after when we ran for office. So I look at the people who are being honored, and I feel like I am one of the people who they busted open the door to let in. I didn't make it, I haven't made it anywhere on my own. It was because all of the work all of you have done knocking down doors for me. I'll say one last thing before I get off. My daddy is Robert Miller, who was one of the founders of Theta Tau Lambda. I remember when he was meeting down at 616 Elm Street in Helena with Fred Coleman, Elton Hammonds, Roger Johnson, Joseph Kennedy, Uncle Doc, Hosey Prophet, and Dr. White. And I remember how they came together and they just wanted to put together an organization that would serve this area. And I'm going to say something. I'm sitting here with a tear in my eyes looking at you, gentlemen, because you're carrying on their legacy. You're doing more than they ever could have imagined. All those men have passed on, and they've left this organization in great hands. Thank you, brothers. I appreciate you. And thank you very much for this award. It will go on my wall in Little Rock, and I will never forget it. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Judge Miller. Next, we will go to the Honorable Ali Neal from Marianna, Arkansas.
I had a call from Representative Murdoch, who is also a native in my hometown, and he advised me that they were recognizing what I believe he called the Delta Icons, persons from the Delta who've been icons, citizens who represented icons, starting and putting on a sound footing the Lee County Cooperative Clinic in Marianna in 1969-70. That work was the most valuable work I think I've done in my lifetime. Now, of course, the work that gets a little bit more attention is I served as the first Black person to ever be a district prosecuting attorney in Arkansas in 1991-92. I served as one of the first persons, along with Kathleen Bell, to be a circuit judge in Eastern Arkansas, starting in 1993. And I served as a member of the Arkansas Court of Appeals from 1996 to 2000, to the end of 2006. And I'm probably one of the only Black persons who has been recognized by a county bar association to the extent that they placed my photo and a plaque in my honor in the courthouse in Lee County for my contribution to the judiciary. So I guess those are the things that folks would look at. My most proud work was starting and placing on a sound footing the Lee County Cooperative Clinic that now operates out of Lee County, Arkansas. Well, the Lee County Cooperative Clinic continues to provide the primary source of health care in Lee County and the surrounding counties, including St. Francis and Phillips. And in doing so, a study of some obscure records will show that Lee County's morbidity rate among children, mortality and morbidity rate among infants is lower than any of the counties surrounding. It's substantially lower. My work as a lawyer, when I served as prosecutor, said to many young Black folk that what they said to you, Mr. Wofford, is what my good friend, and I want you to know I'm not offended by this, he's more uncomfortable about this than I am. Bill Llewellyn said, if that damn fool Ollie Neal can do it, I know it can. I know I can. We have been through times more difficult, Black people have been through times more difficult than what we experience now. I have hope, I still have hope. I'm convinced that we will survive these difficulties. I'm convinced that we're in a better position to survive them and come out of them a little bit better off, because there are some other folks who are feeling the pain now. In 1860, when we were starting the Civil War, it was only the Black folk who were the slaves. And while my Southern friends said it wasn't about slavery, it was about states' rights, those who studied the matter know quite well it was about slavery. And for those who now say that it's about the lack of respect in jobs, those who studied the question well know that it is about the concern of the non-white people becoming the majority in this country. And people like our current president have shown the greatest ability to try and slow that down. And that's why so many of my friends, my white friends, cannot abandon him. So I think we just need to keep working like the devil. I think I'm impressed, for example, with Stacey Abrams out of Georgia. We've got to be committed to something, and we've got to be committed to risk our own to make certain we accomplish that. And I'm convinced that I don't think it's going to be perfect, not certain in the lifetime of my grandchildren. But we ought to make another step forward. It is still, in my opinion, this Constitution we have in this country provides one of the greatest opportunities for seeking and attaining some measure of equity and equality, more than any other that I've seen. I don't claim to be a great historian, and I think we've got to keep working at it. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, men of Alpha Phi Alpha. I thank you for what you do. I thank you particularly for this award. As I move into my senior years, I guess I've already gotten there, I'm reminded of how important it is to leave some legacy so that somebody can say that he tried to contribute something. It is difficult, it is special, it is difficult, it is special, it is the greatest of honors to be recognized, to be given some honor in your own home community. Lee County, St. Francis County, Phillips County, Monroe County, I consider to be my, I have my granddaughter here with me, so you please partner. I consider to be my home county. The four counties, I worked there for many years. Many of you I've worked with, and then many of your predecessors I've worked with. I'm a proud member of Phi Beta Sigma fraternity, but I can tell you that one of the most important projects I worked on in Arkansas was trying to identify high-risk students who had potential for real contribution in the world. And one of the guys who helped me organize that effort and who did most of the work on it is James McCoy, one of your brothers, who's now here in the Little Rock area. I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate you for honoring me. I appreciate you for doing this in my home. Thank you so much. I have the award. I thank you for it. I know that you all are, I know that many of you say you're getting into age, but y'all are young folks, because y'all figured out how to put this thing on. I never could have figured out how to do this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Judge Neal. Trust me, we are challenged, yet we have the perseverance to try to pull this off. So yes, it has been a challenge, but we yet go forth. Next, we would like to honor in absentia Miss Lula Tyler. She's not able to be with us tonight as we honor her as she deals with some health-related issues, as many of us have experienced during this time in our lives. Let's make sure that we remember her in our prayers and our thoughts, and remember the contributions that she has made to, for, and on behalf of many of us that have benefited from the association and the work of Ms. Lula Tyler. From being an educator to now being the mayor in Holly Grove, I have had the benefit of associating with her. She was my 9th grade English instructor, and now she is a mayor in my district. And believe me, she's as challenging now as she was then, and I appreciate her for that. So let's remember honoree Lula Tyler tonight in our prayers as we go forward. Our next honoree, thank you, will be Miss Ernestine Weaver of Forest City, Arkansas.
I'm Ernestine Weaver, Evangelist Ernestine Weaver. I live in Forest City, graduate of Lincoln High School. I have worked for the International Union of Electrical Workers. I retired as an organizing specialist. I'm involved in the city. I've served on the school board. I've served on the election with the Democratic Central Committee. Right now, I am the chair. I'm a part of the Quorum Court. I'm a member of the CRDC, Crawley Ridge Development Council Executive Board. And I've served on the school board. I've served on the Democratic State Committee and State Executive Board. I've attended probably 13 national conventions, Democratic National Conventions as representative for Arkansas. In my work, I received the Organizer of the Year award for 5 straight years. And I got the Chairman's Award from the Democratic Party, and I've worked on most of the political campaigns with the prize, Blanche Lincoln and Bill Clinton, and all of those people. My greatest accomplishment would be in the organizing, as an organizing specialist, being able to organize people who were needing representation in the factories, being able to go out and negotiate contracts after organizing that plan into a union, and being able to negotiate those contracts and service some of those. And I think one of the most things that's most important to me is serving as elect lady of the District Evangelist Department also. I have learned that I have to be responsible for me. You cannot depend on or make other people responsible for you. You have to make your way in life, and you have to learn to live with yourself and with the decisions that you make. I would like to pass on to people that the importance of just being you and recognizing that everybody is not you. I said like this: know what you're working with and work with it like you know. And what I mean by that is acquaint yourself with people and learn to get along with them.
Okay, the floor is yours. You got the whole country listening to you.
Truly, first of all, I want to thank each of you for putting this program together. And I'm honored to be honored by such great people as you. In particular, I won't call all the names, but Dr. Woods, who was our speaker, Senator Cromley, who's our MC, and to you, Brother Murdoch, who's our friend and presentation of those of us. And I want to move quickly to say some things that I would just like to say, because I remember Martin Luther saying, in the end, we will not remember the words of our enemy, but the silence of our friends. And I want to thank you, friends, for speaking up and honoring those of us that you chose to honor. And my prayer is that we will have the will to get up, the strength to stand up, and the power to speak up. We must speak on the things that you're talking on here tonight. And as I move right along, I just want to say also that after we have lived this life and we're not here anymore, may we leave knowing that our life, that we have came and gone, the benefit of us having been here will linger on. And that is my hope, that the fact that I have been here will linger on. And may I also remind us that Hebrew 12:1 say we have a great cloud of witnesses. And as I look to that cloud, I see Reverend Martin Luther King. I see Rosa Parks. I see Ruth Ginsburg. I see John Lewis. And they're looking down on you. And I know they're smiling tonight at the great work you're doing in honoring one another. The scriptures say in honor, preferring one another. Thank you so much for honoring me. I prefer each of you, that one day we'll be able to honor you in the likewise. God bless you.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you, Brother Crumley.
I think Brother Crumley is still on mute.
Okay, as I was stating earlier, as we wait on Brother Crumley to get on, to unmute.
Oh, sorry, let me unmute. Okay. Oh, that's sorry. You know, little technology, little technique challenge. Okay. As I was saying, now we're gonna have the souvenir book presentation, and that should be done by Brother Shaw. Okay. As that completes our souvenir book, now we would like to ask Brother Branch if he could start the Greek medley. And after the end of the Greek medley, we'll have the Alpha Hymn video, if that's possible. Then followed by closing remarks by our chapter president, President Payne.
I present to you the Greek medley.
be raised to thy glory, thy honor and renown. College days swiftly past, imbued with memories fond, and our recollection slowly fades away. Our renown, day by day, and dear fraternal bond, may they ever abide and with us stay. Alpha, Phi Alpha, the pride of our hearts, and loved by us dearly art thou. We cherish thy precepts, thy banner shall be raised to thy glory, thy honor and renown. O Lord, may the true spirit of fraternity rule our hearts, guide our thoughts, and control our lives, so that we may become through thee servants of all. Amen.
And I'd just like to say on behalf of the brothers at Theta Tau Lambda that we certainly appreciate everyone who's tuned in tonight, and certainly would like to again thank all of our honorees, and also our guest speaker, Dr. Wood, for an outstanding speech. Thanks to everyone, all the brothers and their participation. So this completes my duties for tonight. But before I go, hopefully next year we will have this grand occasion in person as we have our second annual Icons of the Delta celebration. So at this time, I will turn it over to our president, who will make closing remarks, and that is President Payne. Thank you. It's been a pleasure, and good night.
All right,
President
thanks,
Payne.
Brother Crumley. This is Sean Payne. I am president of Theta Tau Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. We want to thank you all for taking the time out of your schedules to be a part of the Icons of the Delta, to be recognized as people that have shaped our respective communities and the Delta overall. You all are what I call champions, individuals that have and still are working hard and well to start and or support an initiative or an intervention to bring a program or an ideal to reality, or otherwise just improve the quality of life of people. Tonight, we are here to celebrate. You have chosen to undertake a service or a duty, and for that, you have made a difference. And we thank you for that. It does not matter how great or how small, you have made a difference in our cities, our counties, the Delta, and Arkansas overall. And as an icon, you have a responsibility and a need to develop others to succeed in their roles and to prepare them for future roles. You want to make things easier for others. You're a strategist, visionary. You're a change agent, a decision maker, influencer, and a team player, because it takes all working together to achieve a common goal. As well as providing direction, inspiration, and guidance, you all have shown courage, passion, confidence, commitment, and ambition. These are the traits that nurture the strengths and talents of other people and build teams committed to achieving common goals. We, the members of Theta Tau Lambda Chapter Alpha Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, we just want to recognize and pay homage to you all, our community activists and leaders, whose contributions and commitments to improving the lives of African Americans and minorities of the Delta have been so impactful. And with that, we thank you all. Without you all, we wouldn't be where we are today. And we want to just thank you all for being participants. I want to thank the brothers for their help, all of us working together to make this a success. And we hope to continue this in the future. With that, we say thank you and good night.
Brother, we got one closing song. I think we have it up now.
All right, well, like I say, once again, we want to thank you all for your time and efforts that you have contributed to the Delta and our prospective communities. We just once again thank you, ask you to keep up the good work, and we will follow suit. And with that, everyone, good night.
Good night.
Good night.
The Alpha train is a slowly coming. I gotta keep on pushing. The Alpha train is a slowly coming. I gotta keep on pushing. The Alpha train is slowly coming. I gotta keep on pushing. There's some alphas in this house, and the train is pulling in, and the train is pulling in, and the train is pulling in. There's some alphas in this house, and the train is pulling in. Alpha Phi Alpha black and old gold. There's some alphas in this house, and the train is pulling in. And the train is pulling in. The train is pulling in. There's some alphas in this house, and the train is pulling in. Alpha Phi Alpha, black and old gold. A Phi, A Phi, A my soul belongs to a Phi. My soul belongs to a Phi. Some men pledge Kappa, some pledge Q Sapphire, but I'm pledged Alpha Phi Alpha. I'll be an Alpha man until the day I die. I said, zoom, zoom, zoom. My brother, I love my black and gold. I got the fever all in my body, the fever down in my soul, that alpha fever. Zoom.